What is World War II? I got so many doubts.
Actually, you could doubt. I know a lot about it. Today we're gonna talk about World War II and everything that came with it. But first, let's put some historical background so we can understand the war a little bit more clearly. It's 1918, and the World War I has just ended. The Treaty of Versailles has just been signed by the countries in the war. In the Treaty of Versailles, it includes that Germany has to pay a lot of money to the Allies, and also that it cannot have a big military.
How did World War II started?
So we have to actually go about 6 years before the war started. It's 1933, and Hitler has just got into power in Germany. Hitler blames the Jews for losing World War I.
But who is Hitler?
Hitler is a little man. He's little actually for the time. He is an Austrian guy that practically participated in World War I with Germany. But he's Austrian, but with heart he's German. He loves Germany. But he doesn't follow the rules of the Treaty of Versailles. He builds up the German military and starts annexing countries.
What is annexing?
Well, annexing is when a big country with a big, powerful military wants to invade another country. This little country with a weak military doesn't want it to get ruined. So it says practically, big country, hey, I know you're gonna win a war, and we don't want to get killed or destroyed. So just invade us, but with no military weapons, and we will treat you good, and you treat us good.
It's peaceful. How did World War II started?
So the Allies, practically at this moment, France and Britain, they didn't like Germany was getting really powerful. So in its first annexation, he said, okay, you can have this country, but no more, like a little baby. And then Germany did it again. So the British said, okay, this one, but no more. And then at the third time, he said, okay, let's go to war.
What happened in 1940?
So let's talk some background about France. So in World War I, France won pretty comfortably. It had one of the best armies in the world. So due to them being the winners, they just stayed there. They did not become bigger, stronger, or more technological advanced. So when Germany declared war on France and Britain, they said, oh, they will not invade France because we're powerful, and they are not, because they lost World War I. So when the Germans made a surprise attack, going through the Ardennes forest, which was one of the most difficult forests to cross with their panzers, some big tanks. No one said, oh, they will just cross the Ardennes. No, that was impossible. So when the Germans did it, it was like no one was there, no one protected it. So France fell really fast. The whole world was astonished. France, one of the best armies in World War I, in only a few months, they were gone. Only a little bit of them was left.
Jose, wait a sec. I want to know more. What happened the year after?
Okay, so it's 1941, and Germany and the Soviet Union are pretty nice. There are not a lot of fighting. Germany is really doing really well. They think they're gonna win the war, but I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that Germany made. In 1941, Operation Redbeard, that is practically the translation, started. Redbeard was the biggest operation of Germany in the war. It invaded the Soviet Union, and it went really well until it didn't. But let's not get too far ahead.
Jose, I have a doubt. I heard that the US was also in World War II. What happened?
Well, it's the end of 1941, exactly December 7th. And we have to talk a little bit about Japan. Japan has one of the strongest navies in the world. Actually, the second strongest. But there is one military with enough naval power to beat it. Guess who? The United States. The United States had a Pacific fleet bigger than the whole fleet of Japan. So Japan had an idea. Before the war even starts, get the US Navy out of it, so they can just invade everything in the Pacific. So what ensued was Pearl Harbor. Yes, the famous battle. Japan sent a lot of aircraft carriers to bomb the naval base in Hawaii. So, yeah, that's how the US got into the war. And actually, Japan and Germany, I don't know if you knew, were actually allies. So Germany also declared the war on the US, which was another of the deadly mistakes that made them lose the war.
I'm a little confused. Can you tell me what were the two teams?
So there were two teams, but and with a lot of countries. That's why it was called the World War. But let's talk about the primary countries in each team. So first were the allies. The good ones, if you're American and you know Western history. The US, Russia or the Soviet Union, France and Britain. And then there were the bad ones. Germany, Japan and Italy. But here's a map.
I have a doubt, but Germany was doing actually pretty well. How did they die or
Well,
lose?
let's sit down because this is gonna get really long because it's a big series of mistakes that led Germany to losing the war. So imagine it's 1942 and the war with Soviet Union is at its peak. The Battle of Stalingrad, one of the most important battles in the war, in my opinion, has just started, and Germany is losing it. Almost 2 million personnel of each country is there, and over 1 million people died in this battle. Now it's 1943, and the war is turning to the Allied side. In the West, France is making good progress due to the invasion of D-Day, which was the biggest naval invasion of history, where the US, Britain and Canada participated in an invasion where they took back the France. So let's explain something about the Soviet Union. So here you can see in this map that Germany invaded all of this, but so all the factories of the Soviet Union producing armaments is over in here. But then when they invaded, they moved it over here. So they take all the things that they produced over there and send it into one big battle. Guess what the battle is called? Kursk, the biggest tank battle in history. This Kursk was a little town, and this town is gonna decide the fate of the war.
Finish this. Can you tell me what happened next?
So it's 1944, and this year was actually just pretty boring in my opinion. It was just the Allies winning battles against Germany. And so it's the end of the year and Germany has to win it. They're losing every battle. So they take everything they have left and throw it into one big army. And you remember at the start that I said that Germany crossed the Ardennes to invade France? Well, they did it again. And they thought they were gonna get away with it. But they didn't. Everything that they had left, they lost it, and the war is practically over. So it's 1945, and the war is pretty lost. It's so depressing. Hitler knows what is coming, so he doesn't want him to get killed and ridiculed. So he takes his own life and orders that he and his wife are burnt, so the Allies cannot play with his corpse. So yeah, Germany doesn't have a leader. They don't have nothing. They just surrender. The war is finally over in Europe, but the war is not over yet. Japan is still fighting, even though they're losing. But a lot of people are dying. So it's time for the big reveal. The US has spent lots of money and lots of time to develop the nuclear weapons. And they finally tested on August 6 and August 9 on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The war is over. This is everything we have done. It's over.